Well, good morning from the ridge.
Good morning.
A little later for someone today. Someone else has been up at the butt crack of dawn, but you know.
See, what happened was, I don't know. The last couple nights has been weird. I have slept longer in the morning, but I've noticed when I wake up, and I never put sheets or blankets over my head, but it must be one of those that when I wake up and see the sun and cover my head, so it makes
Well,
it
typically for
darker.
some people that would mean, hey, it's time to get up. Let's get up instead of covering our head
And that's what I normally do, but see what happened was.
wasting the day away. But anyway, I've been busy this morning, and now I'm editing a video for you guys for today on the main channel, White Rock Homestead. And I'm not going to spill the beans here. I'm actually getting better at not spilling beans. But there's a bunch of bean spilling that we didn't even know we were going to be even having the beans. As well as our new resident has arrived here on the ridge. So stay tuned for that video because that's going to be coming out today. And I'm thinking maybe tomorrow we may just bring that said person in and y'all can...
Yeah, and I know y'all, we had said that I was taking a trip to go do it, but it ended up I didn't need to. They were able to get themselves here just fine. So...
it doesn't mean that we're done making the trips for stuff.
Right.
But we've got other things that we're going up for, as you know. Pop's Memorial is on the 22nd. And so we know we're going to be up there for that. So, I mean, all these littler, smaller trips that we do have to go back for, it just made more sense for us. Of course, it was Aunt Sherry and Uncle Bob, and Aunt Sherry's like, wouldn't it make more sense? And I'm sitting there like,
yeah,
duh. The problems of an overthinker. And we knew moving away that we'd be the ones to, make more of the trips up north. And I think we've just trained our brains to every time, we're needed up north, okay, let's go. And so we're so trained in that mindset that we overlooked the obvious.
Yeah, I did it for so long, though, because the whole time I was in the Marine Corps, I lived away from home, and that was my choice to join and serve and be away. So I knew that, hey, it meant it was my choice to have to go home and help when needed or do what was needed, but I was going to have to make most of the travel.
But thank you, Aunt Sherry, because we totally overlooked the obvious.
And that's what happens. I mean, you guys know we've been so dang busy that, we're relying on...
So what do we do? What do we do, babe? We add more.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about adding another person to the ridge. Oh, you guys, wait to see today's video. It's a short one. It literally is short. It's going to be anyway. But we just opened up a can of... We're not talking little tiny beans. We're talking big beans that we just hadn't even...
It's just killing you not to say it.
It is. It is, but it's going to be cool, guys. And
I don't know, I'm looking at the sky now because I was like, hey, we dodged the big storm. So
it didn't come last night.
Hopefully nobody, in the Oklahoma side got any, severe damage. I know it was hitting them, and it looks like it had broke up coming this way, and looks like there's a little patch that might come, but it's not going to be anything serious. And it's just been so weird because we've been kind of taking our days, not getting super involved in major project because the weather was supposed to be crap, and it never fails. You get all of the tools out, you get everything set up, you're ready to go.
What other job can you have in this world where you are wrong 90% of the time and you still get a paycheck? It blows my mind. But then again, we are talking about nature. So we honestly, and what's crazy is my app will say something completely different than Jason's app. And so, yeah, we just go ahead and if it's not raining in that moment, we will do something.
Yeah.
We will work.
And it's been nice. I mean, you guys had seen from the or hopefully you've seen from the community post that Jackson is back.
Jackson is home. Like, so much is happening, guy. We just, even last night, we sat out here on the deck. You know, Jenna, our new resident on the ridge, Jackson. Of course, you know, it's all about what's mom cooking, you know? And so, and you guys know I love to cook, and I love to cook for people. It's part of my love language. And so it was just so awesome to have, you know, Jackson back home, and then our new resident. And it was so funny because Jenna and Jackson, even last year, you know, they're literally like brother and sister, right? And last year they were like, oh, we should start a YouTube channel, you know? And then last night they were talking about it again, you know, because you get their brains together and it's like, oh, let's build a tree house. Oh, let's build this, let's build that. And Jenna's like, you know, I bet all the new subscribers wouldn't question if we did a sibling channel. Because they wouldn't know that Jackson and I are biological, because we're both blue-eyed blondes. And it's hilarious.
It is, and it's funny to watch, and I'm so glad that we get the opportunity to see like how their brains are working together, you know. But then even Jenna, like the idea is, you know, and we love it. I guess it's, you know, that was been a really big connection with Jackson is, you know, he's got so many like ideas of, hey. And he can picture the final product, but then how to get there,
execution
is kind of like, well, see what happened was. And that's what's nice is because when he does come over, he's always eager to learn.
Yeah.
You know, like he doesn't have everything set up on his property yet. So we, you know, obviously open ours up. Hey, you need water, you need a shower, you need food, whatever, you know, come on over. We've got you covered. And, you know, but while we're doing that, he's always like, all right, what project can I help you with? Because being able to touch or teach, you know, this, you know, like their generation, and that's something that even Jackson recognizes, you know, amongst his own friends a lot of times, is his drive and ambition is kind of uncommon with their generation, a vast majority of them. I won't say everybody, but, you know, they're not that, hey, let's get dirty. Let's, you know, and I don't fault them for the increases in technologies and abilities of things that happen today that, you know, we get instant gratification anymore because you have a question. What do? You Google it or, you know, you look it up and
but nothing beats hands-on learning. And we just love Jackson for that. And,
Jenna's, she's a little more controlled. Like she thinks a process out, she'll talk a process out, but she won't just, you know, Jackson will just jump in and he's like, hey, guess what? I own a new trailer. I want to haul stuff now. Or, you know, like, hey, I just bought another property or I bought this and Jenna's kind of like, well, I want to do that, but let's think this out a minute.
She gets that from me. And, you know, I, with my mom being in law enforcement and stuff, I was always trained to always, every situation, every decision, you've got to think of 10 outcomes of any possible decision and then weigh your pros and cons. And when you're trained like that from the time you're young, it's almost instantaneous. And so it kept me out of trouble.
You start that process instantaneously. The process isn't instantaneous.
Okay, maybe not the process. Like I was always the Debbie Downer in the group on the friends, because they'd be like, oh, let's go do this, and that. And instantly my brain would think of all the consequences and the reasons why we should not do that and the outcomes of the potential consequences. And I'd be like, no, guys, we can't do that. You know, and you know, just so Jenna gets that a little bit more from me where, you know, she thinks through things a lot. And, but yeah, so it's just been fun the last couple days having Jackson back on the property. Well, his property, but you know, hear a lot stuff. And guys, we're just so blessed. Like yeah, we have a lot going on, and oh goodness, we added a doozy. You just wait, a doozy. And we're not even like keeping it secret like a long time spilling beans. Like,
but you know, we had kind of overstressed ourselves a little bit, right? of,
We did.
man, we've got a timeline because, you know, we're going here. People are coming here. We're going there. More people are coming here.
But I had the dates wrong on one visit by a month.
And yeah, so, you know, the trip up north did ruin one visitor coming. Well, 3 visitors technically.
Yeah.
You know, but they understand, and I appreciate that, you know, that we've got to go home for Pops' memorial. And, but then, you
Having
know,
the one
other
date
friends, you know, being a whole month off. And it was almost, when we realized it, you could almost just feel it calm.
Yeah.
You know,
because it was like, you know, and we do it to ourselves, but, like there is no stress to any of it.
It isn't.
But it's our expectations that we put on ourselves. Yeah. Like, we know that all of our friends and family that come to visit, they just want to spend time with us. They don't care that everything's perfect. They don't care that, oh, I have a speck of dirt on my floor. They don't care that I don't have a 10-course meal prepared. Like,
well, you always do the whole 10-course meal thing.
Okay, well, besides that. But my point is, the expectations that we put on ourselves are not the expectations of the people that love us and want to spend time here. And so it was just kind of that reminder that when those plans did change and we both saw that relief on our faces, as not relief as in, you know, not having anybody here, but that relief and, oh goodness, we don't have to have this done. We don't have to have that done. We're reminded that, like, Uncle Bob and Aunt Sherry, they didn't care if I had a pile of feed bags next to the chicken coop. I cared. They, you know, they could care less.
But that's how it always goes, guys. Whether you're living this lifestyle or you're living in a, you know, a brick and mortar in town, you know, you always want your house to be presented the best way when, you know, and your home, your property, everything. And like she said, it's a self-inflicted wound of stress that we put on ourselves because they're like, we want it to be the best, but we sit down and in those moments we have the conversations, even like we've had in the last couple nights, sitting, you know, out here on the porch, which we realized is too small. You know, it works great for 2 of us. And, you know, and that's one of those things that we're kind of realizing with developing the property is, you know, the house is perfect for 2 people. Yeah. But you go so much as at a third as a constant, and then it's too small. Yeah. But we built the house, right, for that fact. We've said that from the beginning. Hey, we're building our home for the 2 of us. We're going to build extra cabins or have extra campers, whatever the case might be, right? When people come visit, they're not going to have to go get a hotel room. Right. They're going to be able to stay here on the property. They just aren't going to be in our main home. And we had kind of done that even with the deck. And knowing that Jake was here to start it off. And then Jenna came in. Was like, okay, but they have their own spot. You know, but now as we start get visitors, it's that time of year, guys. We're into summer. We're having get-togethers, gatherings.
We love it.
You know, and it's like, we need to make some things bigger or we need to make some areas.
Surprise!
But honestly, I mean, we always seem to make it work.
We do.
And everything around here, you know, is going great. The garden is just blooming.
Oh, y'all. I got my first cherry tomato for the season.
Well, and you've gotten, what, 3 total?
3 now. And, boy, I plucked those puppers right off, and I popped them in my mouth, and
Notice she didn't share nothing.
No. I did ask Jenna if she wanted one.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't I? Or was it you?
You asked Jenna.
Oh.
I got the you stay away from my tomatoes, boy.
And, you know, popping peas. The peas inside the greenhouse that I tried trellising up, and they're in the grow bag. They are not doing well at all. I did replant. I've already also replanted another batch of zucchini, and it's time for me. Oh, I planted another batch of lettuce because for some reason the second batch didn't grow. I'm really disappointed because by now we are normally eating salads.
And even last year, literally was like broadcast some seeds and the stuff grew. Like it was almost, you know, like instant, hey, boom, we've got it. And it just, this batch around.
Not a single one.
And even now there's only maybe a dozen sprouts of.
Yeah, I might have to look at that because those are the same tubs we've done the lettuce in for a long time. So maybe I need to do some soil amendments and, check it out. Because normally this time of year, we come in on a break and we just go to the garden. We pick lettuce. We grab a couple tomatoes, cucumbers, because I'm getting loads of cucumbers. And we literally eat salads almost every day. And not having our lettuce growing right now, I'm hating it.
Yeah, and it's definitely like we were talking yesterday where, we were about to have lunch. Of course, it was late. It was almost like
3 or 4.
Yeah, it should have been like an early dinner, by the time we got done working on stuff. But normally our schedule, like last year, was, hey, you stop around noon, 1 o'clock, and hey, we go pick some stuff from the garden and have a nice salad. And not having that, like I'm really surprised because we both love salads, but I didn't realize how much you miss it when you don't have it readily available and when you're used to it.
I need to do like a rotating, but I haven't had the tubs to do it. So, I've got 2 designated tubs and, but they are growing. So, and it does grow fairly quick. So I'm not terribly worried. It's just sucks not having that. And we're trying to also eat up last year's harvest. And I know I didn't record it, but I did clean out the freezer up at Jenna's, and of all last year's frozen tomatoes that I didn't have time to process last year. And we've been eating out of them all winter. Okay, how many do I have left? What do I have left? And I decided to try out my new juicer. Should I go get it? Because it's so cool. I got it at a thrift shop, guys. It's $270 some.
You're just gonna have to
do a video.
Do an actual video.
Oh. Well, anyway, I took all of those tomatoes, thawed them out. It didn't matter if they were aromas, beefsteaks, cherries. Didn't matter. I used this new juicer, and it's like old crank style Amish. Oh, I love this thing.
Yeah.
And it juiced it out beautifully, and then I rendered and simmered down homemade tomato soup. Yeah, I overspiced it at first, so then I had to add 2 more jars that I'd already canned of tomato juice back to it. I didn't really follow a recipe. I just but I overspiced it. And he was like, it tastes like spaghetti sauce.
It was not tomato soup, y'all. It had great flavor, and it would have been awesome over pasta, but when you were making a tomato soup, it wasn't a tomato soup, so.
Yeah, well, I can't take a derogatory comment like that and not fix it. So I went back to the kitchen and kept working on that tomato soup, and through that process also realized that I do need a freeze dryer because we ended up having to make a run to DG so I could pick up freezer containers, because by the time I fixed the tomato soup, which I admit did taste a little bit like spaghetti sauce, I did fix it. And oh my, it is so good. And I could have been like freeze drying that, No, we had to run to DG, grab some freezer containers, and packed away 6 quarts of, if those containers are quarts, that's about a quart jar.
Yeah, I think they're right at a quart.
6 quarts of homemade tomato soup. So I have that frozen, and then I painstakingly picked all of the skins from my juicer, separated them from the seeds. Although, for some reason, I must have saw it somewhere. How do you separate the seeds from the skins? And I'm like, well, I know the seeds will sink and the skins should float. It worked. So I was able to not all at once, you had to only do small batches. I was able to suspend the skins, scoop them up out of the water. And then I spent a day and a half dehydrating them. And then once they were fully dehydrated in the dehydrator, I ran them through my bullet
grinder,
and I made tomato powder. I don't think, it's not very red though, it's more orange. But I think it has to do with the fact that they were frozen.
I think they were, between them frozen, and then you ran them through the juicer.
And then ran them through water. So it wasn't like a fresh skin, so they're not bright and vibrant. I don't even know if it tastes good. It could have all been for naught. I don't know. What do you use potato powder for or tomato powder for anyway?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't use tomato powder.
That's what's so much fun, I think, about this and what we're doing is those constant experiments that we can make and conduct. Because one, you know, we don't have everything developed on the property yet. And by learning and doing some of the projects now, it's one of those that, okay, now we know going forward.
You learn by your mistakes.
Well, and we know, we definitely confirm the necessity of an outdoor kitchen. But
we're not building it, and you'll have to watch.
Well,
we're
going to build one. It just might not be in the original place we thought we were going to build it. But, you know, it reiterates that necessity of, you know, need an outdoor kitchen. We need the part of the shop when we do the main shop, which in the meantime an outdoor kitchen could suffice for, but for the meat processing stuff. And definitely need a better meat grinder.
My meat grinder. Nah, I can't complain. I got it for like $5 at a thrift shop, and it does do a wonderful job when it works.
Well, and you've probably put more through it than it's really designed for.
Maybe.
You know, it's one of those that, hey, 1 to 3 pounds a week you're good on, and we're throwing 25,
that was the other
30
thing.
pounds
And
at it.
I'm sorry I didn't film any of this, you guys. I was in work mode, food prep mode, but we'd picked up 40 pound of pork butt. Our place up in West Plains had it on sale. Again, of course, it's about 20 cents per pound more than it was last year, so I'm not happy about that. But it still was like $1.64, I think, a pound for the pork butt. So I spent all day, almost 2 days actually, deboning all of the pork butts, getting back into my butcher shop recipes from John, and threw together an amazing Italian sausage. Oh my gosh. I even had a little bit left. I put into patties, and then I added some pepperoni on top and some Munster cheese and fried that up. And then we ate it as a sandwich on grilled sourdough bread.
It was delicious.
Babe, it was so good. But the Italian sausage, on point. And then I did a breakfast sausage as well. And I did like 17 pounds of breakfast sausage. It is by far the best batch.
It is. I mean, the last batch she made was really, really good, but this one, like, I think the last batch had a little too much of something. I don't know what it was, but it had one where it was like a very, very strong, distinct flavor.
I don't know.
As to where this one, it is. Yeah, it is.
I knocked it out of the park.
It is a perfect medley of all the flavors that you want in a breakfast sausage, and then, you know,
I made some up yesterday because once our visitor or our new resident arrived, I made sourdough French toast.
Oh.
And pulled out, because I didn't just like bundle it up into like 1 pound packages. I went through and made patties too. And so I pulled out those breakfast
They were
patties
delicious. I mean,
to eat with the sourdough French toast. It was so good.
It is amazing, and it's funny how many people had commented like at our last meetup, and they're looking at me and they're like, I expected you to be a whole lot bigger than you are. And I'm like, I should, by all means, the way that we eat, be 500 pounds. But
it's wholesome, good food.
Well, right. And I think that's the difference of why, you know, because, yeah, typically when I would eat a whole bunch of junk, I do put a lot of weight on. But eating this stuff where it's homemade, it's not full of all the crap of the food from the stores. Plus, we don't eat as much in the summer. We have a good breakfast, normally a light lunch, and then a whatever dinner, because normally by dinner we're eating out of necessity and the fact that we don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, but we're not really hungry when it's really, really hot. It's more of, well, I know my body needs the fuel to be able to start the next day. So
but then I made the famous, and if you're around our area in Ohio, you know what I'm talking about, because you can't get them anymore because we made them and we're no longer there. The salt and pepper patties. We used to do them out for the fair, for the FFA fair booth. Amazing. People would come from miles to eat those salt and pepper patties. John kept the recipe, shared it with me. I can't give it away. It's proprietary information. But yeah, I made up some salt and pepper patties. I haven't tried one of those yet just because it was just a couple days ago. But
Well, and we had cooked up everything else and sampled it, so it was like...
Yeah. But yeah, I know I should have probably videoed all of that, y'all, but I just had to be in work mode. So between the 37 meat birds that we butchered and that I processed and canned, and then the 40 pounds of pork butt, and then the burger we got from Butler Family Farms, our freezers are chock full, and we have a great supply of our meat. I think by fall we're gonna need to do another batch of the meat birds, which I'm used to that. That's fine.
Right.
But we are good. And then last night I made chicken fajitas with the chicken breast that I butchered and pieced out, and I pre-seasoned it, and then I pre-seasoned with a taco seasoning, and then my taco seasoning is different than my fajita seasoning, but I know the differences between the two, so then I'm able to add some fajita, my other seasonings to it to make it more fajita-like. And then I still had a couple bags, which I think I might have used my last ones, last year from the garden. All my red peppers, green peppers, and onions I already pre-packaged and vacuum sealed in the freezer bags for each thing of fajitas. So then it was just add your tortillas and salsas, and of course I pulled out some of my salsas, and then some sour cream, which I didn't make because my goats aren't giving me milk. But yeah, anyway, we're hungry. We haven't made breakfast yet. We're already 26 minutes in, so we have got to end this, as I'm sure you guys are probably wondering why
I was just letting you go.
Talk about food. But anyway, it's a beautiful day. It's a blessed day. I'm going to get back to editing. I've still got to make breakfast yet. We have a lot to do, but we're excited about the changes that are coming to the Ridge. We're excited about the additions. We're excited about all of it. And we thank you guys for going along with the journey, going through those low moments with us and our high moments. And keep on looking. There's a way more to come.
Oh, yeah. We're just getting started, y'all.
Yeah. All right. We love you guys. Peace out from the Ridge.
See ya.